Hi guys, Mrs. Hoffman here. I'm so excited to get started with week 2, or the second full week of distance learning, and I have this really cool sailboat that I wanted to share with you guys, and I think it'd be really fun. If you want to, you could even turn it into a pirate ship. And we're going to be working with collage, and collage is just taking a bunch of different pieces of materials and putting it together, gluing it together, or even taping it together to make a new picture. And I thought it was fitting because it is almost Earth Day that we could use some recyclable materials that we can find around the house. So right here I have a toilet paper roll, and this is something you should be able to find in your house. And then if you have any kind of brown paper bag, you could use that. Or if you want to use some thinner cardboard, you could also use that as well. So to get started, what I'm going to ask you to do is kind of gather your materials, and I'm actually going to put this to the side, and I'm going to start off with a blank piece of white paper here, and then I'm also going to use the back side of this to create the sail, the boat, the brown part of the boat. Okay, so I'm going to start with the boat, and then we can cut it out and assemble it onto the white paper background. This is going to be where we're actually going to glue it onto. Okay, so starting out with the boat, you can kind of make this boat in different types of shapes. I did a straight line here and then a curve, but you could very easily just make this one big curve. Either way, it's going to be fine. It's going to look great. So I'm just going to start off drawing a curve. If you want to, you can make the one side straighter. It's up to you. Okay, and then you're just going to bring it across. You can bring it down a little bit in the center, bring it back up. Okay, we like to add this to the front of the boat. Okay, some fun things that you could add would be some windows, maybe some circle windows towards the bottom of the ship, where people can look out from underneath. Okay, an anchor, just a line with a curve at the bottom, a line going across. Okay, I like to kind of color in those windows to make them look more solid. Okay, let's see, what else could we add? Maybe make this part a little bit higher up on this side. You could have things coming out the back. Maybe if it's a pirate ship, it has a plank. Okay, and I like to also add in these lines to make it look like the grain of the wood, because old sailboats usually were made of some older wood here. So you could do that. Add that in. And I think it's a good idea. If you want to do it in pencil, great, but it's a good idea to try to get like a darker or a black colored marker just to trace over it on top of the brown paper. It would come out easier. Or you could use a crayon or some other type of drawing material to make it look a little bit darker. You could even use different colors. You don't even have to use black if you don't want to. So after you're done that, we're actually going to cut that out. And grab my scissors. Remember, when we're cutting, always keep your scissors away from you. We turn with our opposite hand that we're cutting with, and then we keep the other scissors straight. Okay, almost done. Once you have that done, we are going to actually need some of the big wooden poles that are going to hold up our sails. Okay, does everybody see that? I like to do 2. You could do 3 or 2. It's up to you. Okay, I'm gonna just take my brown paper scraps that I just used, and I'm just gonna do a thin, long and thin, kind of rectangular shape. Okay. So I think I'm gonna do one shorter one, and then I'm gonna do one longer one. So I'm gonna cut that. Actually, no, I think I'm gonna do this. This is gonna be my longer one. Then I'm gonna do a cross beam this way so I can hold up the sail. Okay. I'm gonna take my other strip, cut that. Okay, I'm gonna make this one a little bit shorter. Tuck that under. And I'm not gluing anything yet. I don't want to glue anything yet because I just want to lay it all out and make sure I have it the way I like before I glue anything down. That's important to do as an artist, to plan before you start gluing things down. Okay, so once we have, I'm going to do 2 sails on that guy because he's bigger, and then 1 on this side. Okay, so once you have it the way you like, you're going to get your toilet paper roll. Now, your sails do not need to be white. I made mine white. I just painted this with white paint, but if you don't have white paint, you could use a marker or any kind of material just to color right over top of that, because all this is just cardboard material. Any kind of drawing material, if you want to add some color, go ahead and do that. If you don't want to, you can just leave it just like this. It's up to you, okay? What you're gonna do is you are going to cut this down the center. Okay, so now I have an opening. Now you want to go, if you look at this, you want to go to the opposite side of what you just did. You don't want to cut too close to the one that you just cut, all right? So you cut here, you want to go to the opposite side of the circle. All right, so hold that where your finger is. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you don't want to get too close to the other side. Okay. All right, and the nice thing about this, see how it's nice and round? It looks more 3-dimensional. Looks like it has depth, all right? So now I have these 2. They're a little bit big, so I'm actually gonna just cut these in half. Okay, so I have this guy. I have one up here. And I could leave that big, but I think that's a little bit too big, so I think I'm gonna trim that. And I'm going to see what that looks like. Okay, I'm kind of liking my boat. I think it's looking great. So I'm gonna take this, I'm actually gonna put this to the side because we're gonna work on the background now, okay? We wanna make sure we have the background done. If you decide to do this in 2 different days, I would suggest maybe doing the background first, and then you can do the boat second, so that you don't have to keep all these little pieces over the whole week. So it might be hard to kind of keep this all in one spot. If you have a portfolio or something, like a shoebox or something you want to keep your art materials in, then you can go ahead and do that, which would be a great idea as well. Okay, so I am going to actually, let's see, I took some paper and I just painted some paper. If you don't have paint, you don't have to do this, but I just took a separate piece of paper and painted it. Or what you can do is just use regular blue paper or colored paper, or you could use a magazine, you could use newspaper, anything that has something different than white, okay? And you could even take paper and you could color it with crayon, or oil pastel, or any kind of material that you have, okay? If you don't have any of those things, look through a magazine, or look through, you can use cardboard. Maybe you can find some colored cardboard or one of those materials to do the actual water. Okay, then what I'm gonna do is actually I'm gonna tear this. I know it kind of seems strange that I'm tearing this into strips, but this is gonna act as my water, and this gives us a really nice texture. Okay, we learned about the word texture in art, and this is going to make it look like a real wave. Instead of just cutting it, if you cut it with your scissors, it's going to look almost too sharp looking. This makes it look more organic or natural. Okay, you even get those white edges, which is kind of fun if you use this type of paper. Okay, so I have a couple strips here. You could also do blue paper. You could do both, like I did here. That's how I achieved this. I did the blue and the painted paper, and I kind of went back and forth. But you could easily just use this painted paper, or you could just use the blue paper, construction paper, or whatever other material you decide to use for the waves. If you really are having a hard time finding anything, you are more than welcome just to draw with some crayon, whatever material you have, pencil, and just kind of add some waves in like that. Okay, you can also do that, but I'm going to show you how to do it with the painted paper. Okay, so I'm going to take my painted paper, and I'm just going to add a little bit of glue. A dot is a lot, remember. Okay, and then I'm going to tear some of this. Put that down. And the nice thing about doing some layers is that you're going to be able to tuck that boat in so it looks like it's actually under the water once you're done with these different layers. Put that one there. Okay. Okay, so now I have all of my water done. I probably want to do something to the sky. If you want to, you could just color in the sky. You can even make it look like there's an island. Maybe there's an island in the distance. I don't know what's on your island. Maybe there's some treasure hidden. Maybe there's people on the island that are trying to be rescued. Whatever your imagination decides, it's perfectly fine for adding different details. I don't want yours to be exactly like mine because that would just be boring. And we always say that it's good to make ours look different than everybody else's. So you can see I actually painted the background here. If you want to do that, you could do different colors, a sunset. You can make it a blue sky. It could be a rainy day. It could be a storm coming. It's completely up to you. Okay, so let's pretend I finished that part because I'm not going to spend the whole entire time. Maybe I'll have a palm tree here just to have fun with it. I'm not going to spend the whole time coloring this in, but I do want you to make the whole sky colored in, all right? Again, if you're having trouble finding any kind of colored materials, you could go ahead and use pencil, and that's perfectly fine. Okay. And we're going to take our boat and we're going to find where we want to put him or her. All right, a little bit of glue around the edges, not a lot. A dot is a lot. And then we're going to stick it into one of our layers, make it look like it's inside the water. Okay, glue it down. Let me get my pieces. Line these back up. do my cross beam right there. Don't need a lot of glue, guys, okay? Don't need a lot of glue. If you want to use tape, if you don't have glue, you can totally do that. Let's see. All right, we're almost there. All right, so we want to get these glued down. So I'm going to take the edge and I'm actually going to just fold it back just a little bit. Okay, that way I have a little surface to glue onto, because otherwise, if you put glue right there, it's going to be really hard for that little tiny edge to grip onto the paper. So if you give it a little bit more room to grip on a little bit of a ledge, it's going to work a lot better. I'm going to put the glue right onto the ledge here. I'm going to stick that on and just hold it there for a couple seconds. You may have to hold it, you may have to count to 20. And if it still's not sticking, then try counting to 60 for a minute and see if it sticks. Elmer's glue usually dries pretty quickly though, so it should be pretty good. If you're using tape, you could just roll some tape and stick it on the back side and just kind of stick that on. All right. Alrighty. Then you get to add the fun stuff, the details. So maybe you decided to make your sails black. Maybe they're a pirate ship, okay? You could have all different, you could add little people in here. You could add people on the island. You could have a treasure box, okay? Maybe there's some treasure hiding over here. I wonder what's in there. Let's see, what else could we add? Maybe we could have a little ladder coming up here. Maybe we could add, oh, I know, we need a flag. Definitely need a flag. And you could add your own symbol in there. You could make it a pirate ship. It's completely up to you. Right now, just add a star. How about that? Okay. You can color that in. Okay. So that's pretty much it. Okay, so there's two big steps. The first one, if you're doing this in 2 different days, I would suggest remember to do the background first, okay? And make sure we're coloring in the sky. Even though Mrs. Hoffman did not color in the sky today, I do want you to color in the sky. Make sure you're coloring in the whole background. And you're gonna add different layers of paper for your collaged ocean. And then on the second day, if you're breaking it up into 2 different days, you're gonna gather your materials, your brown paper bag or your cardboard and your toilet paper rolls, and you're going to add the boat. Okay? I hope you're gonna have fun with this because I think it's really exciting, and I want everybody to do something a little bit unique, something that's your personality or your style, something that you're interested in, and how to make yours a little bit different than mine. So remember, there's a lot of different ways to do the boat, okay? You don't always have to do the boat the same exact way as I did. If yours is a little different, that's fine. You can see I also added like this little bird's nest up here where people can stand up there and look at different people coming with their telescopes. So there's a lot of different options what you can add, which will be really fun. What I do want you to do though is remember, when you're completely done, you're gonna have 2 weeks to do this. When you're completely done, I do need you to take a photo and upload it to our Google Classroom. And you're gonna do that by turning it in, and you're going to attach it to, when you turn it in, there's a button that says attach, and you're gonna attach your photo before you turn it in, okay? It's really important that we do that so that I can have it in our system, and I can look at it, and I can give you feedback, which is important as well. If you're having trouble with that, please don't feel bad about messaging me and making sure that I get it some way or another. I don't mind if you message me on Google Classroom, and I will definitely try to get back to you. If you have any questions about what materials you might need to use, or if you're having trouble finding things, also please message me in Google Classroom and we can work that out together as well. Okay? I hope you're going to have fun with this, and I really like how this ship is turning out. I think it's fun that it's three-dimensional too. So have an awesome couple of weeks, and I can't wait to see what you guys create. All right, I'll talk to you soon. Bye.